All right, I'm here for another YouTube video. Hopefully you enjoy the vlog today. Today is going to be my first cast and crank day on the water. Gilbert Rowley is actually behind the lens, man of modern nymphing and adaptive fly fishing filmmaking fame, along with all his IF4 videos. So I'm lucky I get to fish with Gilbert today. But Gilbert moved a little while back. He lives a little bit further away from me, and so we don't get to hang out as much anymore. But we got together today to go fish on a stream that he's fished a few times lately. It's got some really cool glide water on it. It's a lot of sight fishing type stuff that hopefully we'll be able to get you some good instruction on, kind of like we did in adaptive fly fishing. But there happens to be one of my favorite climbs in between where we met and the river. So I'm going to crank up the mountain first, and then we're going to cast in the creek later. So instead of a cast and blast like hunters get, I've got a cast and crank today. So let's go do it. Well, I just climbed about 13.5 miles with an average of 6%, and it hurt, but it was fun. And now I get to do the even funner part, layer back up, do the descent, and then Gilbert and I are going to go see some brown trout. So let's do it.
Hello, buddy. Nice job, man. How was the downhill?
Less cold than I thought it would at least be.
Nice.
So that's good.
You got here quick. I haven't even fished, of course.
It's a lot quicker on the way down than it is on the way up.
Nice. All right, let's do this.
All right, time to get changed.
All right, so Devin had a great bike ride this morning. He covers a lot of ground in a short amount of time, but now we're on a river, and this river's got a lot of sight fishing opportunities. It's got a long glide that goes for quite a ways, and if we were to come out here and try to Euro nymph, it would be very tough, and we probably wouldn't find very many fish. So today, following some of the principles that are taught in the film Adaptive Fly Fishing that we produced last year, we're going to come out, throw some dry droppers, throw some dry flies, maybe even a single nymph, and try a bunch of different techniques aside from Euro nymphing to try to find some fish. If you're just a one-trick pony, you're not going to be able to capitalize on opportunities like this. So I'm grateful to be out here with my friend Devin, who's a fantastic fisherman I learned a lot from, and excited to make it happen. Excited to see if we can see some fish rise.
Oh, there you go. Nicely done.
Just like he was supposed to.
Nicely done, buddy.
See if we can keep him out of the rest of those fish.
Nice fish, man.
Yeah, that was a better fish. Nice. Woo. Right. Feels good to be on the board. Set that right there. Yep. There you go, right in the top lip. Nice. Thanks, fish.
All right. There's a fish sitting in the middle of the sand here. So we're gonna get him if we can. One thing I'm trying to do first is cast over to the side, except there's other fish over there, so I better not. But I wanna measure my cast first before I actually make a cast over him. So now that I've got the right distance, then I fire. But I wanna get length first. Oop, fish just rose right by it. And no. Oh, he's coming back. Oh, he turned around to eat it. Let's see if I can get him again. But whenever I make a cast when I'm sight fishing like this, I want to measure for length first, because at least if you got your length right, then all you really have to do is worry about, there we go, is worry about whether you went to the right, you know, width or left or right. But if you get your, oh, popped off. But if you get your length right, then at least that part is easy, right? So get that out of the way first. Make sure that your cast is the correct length, correct distance away. Then you can work left to right to make sure you're accurate that way. All right, well, I got a fly at least on the dropper that they want to eat. A little red perdigon here. Let's go for the fish in the middle and see if he'll eat it. All right, I got another one up here on the weeds this time. So let's go ahead and fire at him, and yep, there he is. Boy, one of the most exciting things about sight fishing, I'm not even looking at the dry fly on this. Yes, I do have a dry and a dropper on, but I'm looking at the fish itself. And when the fish's mouth turns white, you get that white wink. This is what most sight fishermen will call it, when they go in and grab it. So you get to actually see the take before that dry fly ever does anything. A lot of times in really slow water like this, if you wait all the way until the dry fly moves, you've waited too long and that fish has spat the fly and you'll miss it. There we go, nice brown trout. In the flat water, long leader. This leader is about twice the length of my rod, which is 18 feet. I got a 9-foot 4-weight Thomas & Thomas Paradigm here. So nice delicate leader. Let's get him unhooked and gone.
Well, we haven't had to move yet, and already I've learned something from Devin. I liked his idea about checking the distance away from the fish before you ever make your cast over to the fish. I've got a few fish working right over these sandy areas. Got him.
Nicely done.
There we go. Once again on that perdigon dropper. And as he's coming in, he's got another fish chasing after him, saying, "Get out of here with all that running around." But yeah, that first cast this time, instead of having to make 3 or 4 measuring casts over the fish, this time I measured on the side like Devin told me, made 1 cast, and actually got it in the zone right off the bat. Nice brown trout. He's not incredibly long, but he's pretty well built. Perdigon comes right out. Still rolling?
Yep.
Thanks, fish. All right.
Nicely done, Gilbert. My turn.
Thanks, Devin. You're up.
All right, so one of the other things that is in this river that I know from past experience is a lot of the fish eat little midge larvae that are bloodworms. They're bright red from living in this silt and having hemoglobin in their blood to help soak up some oxygen in the hypoxic environment. So I changed to just kind of a little micro red worm. And that dude on the sand still doesn't want to eat it. All right. He's just a non-cooperating customer. So we'll try the one over here to the left, and then I think we'll move on if neither one of them eat. Oh, nope. All right. Onward and upward. Oop, too far. All right, so if you miss your target, like I just did with that cast, never pick it right back up until it's well behind the fish that you're after. If you pick it right back up off the water, you might as well just say goodbye, because that fish is not going to stick around. That's much better. So let the cast go. Let it move all the way back behind your target, then pick it up. There's a giant pot of fish up here on the right, and it's a little bit hard not to flock shoot, so I'm going to try and pick some targets at the back that I won't spook the front and see what happens. Because if I just roll right through all of them and I hook a fish in the middle, my chances are probably gone for the rest of them. Oh. They're being a little bit tough customers right now. And oh, he came up and rejected it the very last second. Oh. There we go. Nice. Oh, I love seeing that white wink. That is one of the most exciting moments in fly fishing for me. Whenever I can, I love to sight fish. No, you know, just because it's basically getting to stalk and hunt your prey, but when it all comes together and you get to watch them eat like that, it is exciting. So this one, same thing, came up and took a little size 18 Perdigon with a 2mm bead with this flat water. We don't need a lot of weight. So I've got a little CDC midge dry on with that Perdigon about 20 inches below it with a 2mm bead and another spunky little brown trout. All right, Gilbert, time for you.
Sweet! Nicely done.
Come on, Gilbert, make him commit, make him commit. Nice. Such poor angling. 3 casts. Nice. So one thing I'm doing here is casting over my shoulder that's out over the river, and then I'm giving it a quick hard stop at the end to make a curve cast. Oop. And what that allows is an aerial mend, essentially, because I'm trying to line my fly or my line up with the currents. I've got more current out in the center, where out to the left of where the fish are, but it's pretty dead in here on the bank. And so I'm kind of having to adjust my fly line. If I just make a straight upstream cast, it's landing over here in the slow water, and I'm going to get dragged. It might be micro drag, but it's still drag. And so by using that curve cast, I can try and adjust for some of that, combined with the super long leader that has a lot of tippet. Oh, I just went for one that's right up in the shallows, and it rushed my perdigon as soon as I put it down. But didn't end up, I don't know what happened. Oh. These fish are very quick at turning, grabbing and spitting and going. Oh my goodness. Wow, 2 in a row. Curse of the camera, it's a real thing. Got him. All right, well, at least the 3rd time was a charm. Whoa, big stump, crap, my leader is on that stump. Well, I might blow up this pod, Gilbert. Because he just stuck my leader. There we go, he's unstuck. Now with some moss on it. And now I gotta get myself out of the quicksand here. Okay, well, crisis averted. Fish is in the net. All right, fly's already out. Good old barbless hook, as soon as the pressure was off, popped out. See you later, fish. Okay, so I've moved up a little bit. We caught a bunch of fish in this pod that was down here in this deeper water. But now there's several fish that are sitting up in, I don't know, 6 to 8 inches of water up on the sand here. And it's way too shallow and slow for me to fish a beaded fly. So I have taken off my beaded fly and my dry fly, and all I have on is just a single unweighted midge pupa. And so I'm gonna give that a go and just watch this fish here for the take. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make a cast out to the side for this fish. And then now I will aim. There you go. And unweighted midge pupa right off the sand. Watch him go over and actually eat it off the sand, because even though it was unweighted, it had still sunk. All right, another nice brownie here. They're all kind of cookie cutter size, kind of I don't know, 11 to 13 inches so far, but fun. And that one I had to adapt for. So the reason we talked about or called the latest movie that we have adaptive fly fishing is you can't just go out to the river and use one approach the whole time. You know, I was down here in this deeper, still slow water, but deeper water, and in that water we needed to suspend a fly so that it came through the fish that we could see at their level. But when we got up here in this shallower water, it's even slower, and it's only that deep at the most. So even a 2 millimeter tungsten bead in that water is just too much. It was going to be hard on the deck right away. So I switched, I adapted to the water that I saw in front of me and the fish that I was seeing, took off my dry fly because it wasn't going to do me much good in that shallow water to suspend a nymph anyway. And then I took off my weighted fly and put on just a single size 20 unweighted midge pupa. And first cast right by that fish, took it. So here are the dry flies we've been using today. They're just simple CDC patterns. They have a trailing shuck of either crystal flash or some antron. The body is crystal flash itself. I think I've got black or peacock on these. This is Gilbert's, this is mine. And then I have sort of an overdressed CDC wing on mine. And I do that on purpose specifically for some extra buoyancy when I'm holding up these nymphs. And then if I get fish that are rising that don't want all that CDC, then I can just come in and trim it out with some nippers. And then you'll see just a turn or two of some grizzly hackle. But that's the midge dry. These are the perdigons that we've been using today. This is one that Gilbert came up with that he's used a couple times here, and it's just an orange thread body with some claret body quills over the top, Vivus body quills. And then there's quite a few midges in here, and a bunch of them have red bloodworms. And so obviously this isn't an exact, midge larva pattern, but it is red to kind of suggest that to the fish. And it's just a red thread body with some red holographic sulky spaced in ribs over the top. And both of these have worked quite well for the little bit deeper fish that we've caught today. Here are the unweighted flies that we fished today for those fish in really shallow flats. Just a perdigon style midge pupa here, but without a bead. It's just an all thread body with some hen's perdigon tinsel spaced in wraps up it with some black thread for the head. And then when we needed a little bit more weight for fish that were slightly deeper, then I went to this unweighted pheasant tail, but it's on a size bigger hook, and just simply that extra mass from the larger hook was enough to sink a little faster. And between those two, for the shallower fish, those have worked well. Now I've got a fish spotted just over the dam here on this beaver dam, and we're gonna see if we can catch it before we move on to some different water. I really hope you've enjoyed our little vlog and tutorial today, and if you have, go ahead and give us that like, that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and come on over to tacticalflyfisher.com and we'll get you hooked up with your fly tying and fly fishing gear needs. And if you haven't checked it out yet, look at Adaptive Fly Fishing, our new video, and Tactical Fly Fishing, my book. Let's see if I can get this fish. There we go, fish on. Haha, jumper. And the perfect way to end the day on this piece of flat water. Ooh, this one's even got a nice orange spot on his adipose fin. Thanks, Mr. Brown Trout. Oh, all colored up, all sorts of orange spots. See you later.